The Spencer repeating rifle was a manually operated lever-action, 7-shot repeating rifle produced in the United States by 3 manufacturers between 1860 and 1869. Designed by Christopher Spencer, it was fed with cartridges from a tube magazine in the rifle's buttstock. The Spencer repeating rifle was adopted by the Union Army, especially by the cavalry, during the American Civil War, but did not replace the standard-issue muzzle-loading rifled muskets in use at the time. The Spencer carbine was a shorter and lighter version. Overview. The design for a magazine-fed, lever-operated rifle chambered for the .56-56 Spencer rimfire cartridge was completed by Christopher Spencer in 1860. Called the Spencer repeating rifle, it was fired by cocking a lever to extract a used case and feed a new cartridge from a tube in the buttstock. Like the Springfield Model 1873 trapdoor rifle, the hammer had to be manually cocked in a separate action. The weapon used copper rimfire cartridges based on the 1854 Smith & Wesson patent stored in a 7-round tube magazine. A spring in the tube enabled the rounds to be fired one after another. When empty, the spring had to be released and removed before dropping in fresh cartridges, then replaced before resuming firing. Rounds could be loaded individually or from a device called the Blackersley cartridge box, which contained up to 13 tubes with 7 cartridges each, which could be emptied into the magazine tube in the buttstock. Unlike later cartridge designations, the .56-56 Spencer's first number referred to the diameter of the case just ahead of the rim, the second number the case diameter at the mouth. The actual bullet diameter was .52 inches. Cartridges were loaded with 45 grains of black powder, and were also available as .56-52, .56-50, and a Wildcat .56-46, a neck-down version of the original .56-56. Cartridge length was limited by the action size to about 1.75 inches. Later calibers used a smaller diameter, lighter bullet and larger powder charge to increase power and range over the original .56-56 cartridge, which was almost as powerful as the .58 caliber rifled musket of the time but underpowered by the standards of other early cartridges such as the .50-70 and .45-70. History. At first, the view by the Department of War that soldiers would waste ammunition by firing too rapidly delayed its introduction. However, Christopher Spencer was eventually able to gain an audience with President Abraham Lincoln, who subsequently invited him to a shooting-matching demonstration of the weapon. Lincoln was impressed with the weapon, and ordered that it be adopted for production. The Spencer repeating rifle was first adopted by the United States Navy, and subsequently adopted by the United States Army and used during the American Civil War where it was a popular weapon. The South occasionally captured some of these weapons and ammunition, but, as they were unable to manufacture the cartridges because of shortages of copper, their ability to take advantage of the weapons was limited. Notable early instances of use included the Battle of Hoover's Gap, and the Gettysburg Campaign, where 2 regiments of the Michigan Brigade carried them at the Battle of Hanover and at East Cavalry Field. As the war progressed, Spencers were carried by a number of Union cavalry and mounted infantry regiments and provided the Union Army with a firepower advantage over their Confederate adversaries. At the Battle of Nashville, 9,000 mounted infantrymen armed with a Spencer, under the command of Major General James H. Wilson, of the 4th U.S. Cavalry rode around General Hood's left flank and attacked from the rear. President Lincoln's assassin, John Wilkes Booth, was armed with a Spencer carbine at the time he was captured and killed. The Spencer showed itself to be very reliable under combat conditions, with a sustainable rate of fire in excess of 20 rounds per minute. Compared to standard muzzle loaders, with a rate of fire of 2-3 rounds per minute, this represented a significant tactical advantage. However, effective tactics had yet to be developed to take advantage of the higher rate of fire. Similarly, the supply chain was not equipped to carry the extra ammunition. Detractors would also complain that the amount of smoke produced was such that it was hard to see the enemy. One of the advantages of the Spencer was that its ammunition was waterproof and hardy, and could stand the constant jostling of long storage on the march, such as Wilson's raid. The story goes that every round of paper and linen sharps ammunition carried in the supply wagons was found useless after long storage in supply wagons. Spencer ammunition had no such problem. In the late 1860s, the Spencer Company was sold to the Fogarty Rifle Company and ultimately to Winchester. Many Spencer carbines were later sold as surplus to France, where they were used during the Franco-Prussian War in 1870. Even though the Spencer Company went out of business in 1869, ammunition was manufactured in the United States into the 1920s. Later, many rifles and carbines were converted to centerfire, which could fire cartridges made from the centerfire .50-70 brass. Production ammunition can still be obtained on the specialty market. See also, M1819 Hall Rifle, Cimarron Firearms, Henry Rifle, Sharps Rifle, Volcanic Rifle, List of individual weapons of the U.S. Armed Forces. Notes. Further reading. External links, the patent drawing for the Spencer Action, description and photos of Spencer Rifle, serial number 3981, production information on the Spencer Carbine, the Spencer Repeater and other breech loaders used in the Civil War.